Hello. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good evening to all of you. Okay, hi. So I think we have to have now. We can start. Please share my screen. Okay. So here also let's start. So today, what we are doing is like we were discussing. So we will be starting off with visualizations today. Right. So how we can create some quick visualizations in R. Right? So data set that we will use over here is we have empty cards. Right. See, so basically, when we talk about visualizations now in R over here, right? So now this is definitely the charts, the graphs that you can create over here, right? With the help of R over here. So when it comes to visualizations, there are a lot of packages that are available which help us in creating quick visualizations. So, like for example, there is a package that is ggplot. There is a package that is plotly. There is a package by the name of this SEEK package, espresso package, right? There is this package that we have. So there are a couple of packages that we have available in R which help us creating some quick visualizations, right? The same visualization that you all have created the Excel, right? In Power BI, W. So similarly, we can create the visualizations over here in R as well, but definitely they won't be that much interactive or they won't be that much uh, creative that we see in the Power BI or in other visualization tools that we have. And also you can create the visuals with the help of visuals can be created with base packages also. Base packages means you don't have to install any packages. Without even that, there are some the visuals that we all will be able to create over here in the R. So let us see how we can create them and let's explore them. Right. So we have the dataset empty cars, right? So what I will do over here is I will use the dataset for now. And suppose I will start with a very basic function that we have in R, that is plot, right? So now plot is a function that helps us in creating a scatter plot type of a chart, right? Like for example, if I show you this data set, I use one single variable in this. Suppose I want to see that in the empty cars data set, what do I have is I have the mileage of the cars. I want to see what is the mileage of each car in the form of a chart. So I will simply come up over here. I will say plot and I will say cars dollar mpg. So if I run this, you will see a chart will be created where I can see the mileage of all the cars that I have in this data set being plotted on this chart. So you can see on the y-axis you have the mileage of the car. On the x-axis you just have the index. Indexing means the row number of each car, right? The first car, second car, third car, fourth car, fifth car, sixth car, seventh car, eight, nine, 10. So this is how the mileage is. So by looking at this chart, I can see that the cars are having mostly the mileage on the lower side, right? The cars with very high mileage are very less in this data set. So this is how I can create a quick chart over here with the help of a plot function. Right, so then please try this out.
Amit, can you share this data set again? I didn't get it.
This is the inbuilt data set, empty cars. This is the inbuilt data set that you have.
Okay.
Have you got that graph in a maximized window? Because I'm just
Over it. So the charts, what happen is whenever we will create a chart, the charts they get created in the plot section,
okay.
and you just have to click on zoom.
Okay.
Can you show the code again? And do we have to, what library did you install? Yeah.
Right now it is a base package. Base
Okay.
package.
Base packaging.
I don't need to install anything right now.
How do I exit from the zoom in graph?
Close that. You will have close like this.
Okay.
If you want to export this chart as an image or as a PDF, you can do that.
Amit, scatter plot we used to compare two numeric values, right? Here you are giving one particular attribute from this empty cars.
So right now, what it is doing is it is just taking one only, so it has plotted that. It is just using index as a numbering of that. So you can use this chart to how you can use actually this chart to check how the distribution of the data is across one variable. So like if you see over here, so I can see that mostly the cars are having a mileage on the lower side. So definitely the main purpose is comparison between two variables only, but
Yeah.
apart from that, we can use it for one single variables as well.
Index as in you said it is taking a complete record and comparing these MPG values.
Row numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have 32 rows, so you can see 0 to 30, 31, 32.
Okay.
Suppose we want to create for two variables, you want to compare plot, so you see this have X and Y axis. So on the X axis, suppose you want to keep cars dollar weight, and on the Y axis, you want to keep cars dollars. See just the variable names. You just have to give the variable names and creates a chart for you. So we can see we are comparing the mileage and the weight, and we can see as the weight is increasing, the mileage of the car is decreasing.
If I want to alter the axis, I can replace this car's attributes, right? Accordingly.
First with MP, then the weight.
Okay.
Amit,
How can we see the names, only names of the cars in the view, not in the plot, in the view? Only, I want only names of the cars.
Names of the car is in?
I want to see only names of the cars. I think you told me, but I forgot. Can you help on? I want names of the cars. Yeah.
But where do you want the names of the cars?
I want to see in the view. I mean, I want to. How can I get the names of the cars? Not in the plot, generally in the table.
I didn't get your question. Can you come again, please?
How can we extract the names of the cars?
See, these names of the cars over here right now, they're coming as row names. So if you just want to see that, so you will have to use this. The row names of your cars data set. Right, so this is how you will get it.
Okay, only we need to use row names.
Because this is not a column. They are given the row
Yeah.
names to that data set.
Oh, the dim names is for the columns, is it?
I'm sorry?
The dim names, is it for the columns in the data set?
Dim
Yeah.
names is like everything that you have, the rows and columns that you have. So dimension means rows and columns.
Okay.
You have this over here. So you get cars all row, the car names also and the column names also in the dim names. So dim is basically dim stands for dimensions. So like if you will use dim of, you say dim of cars, it is going to give you the number of rows and number of columns. And if
Okay,
you
the
use
first
dim names,
32 is rows, number of rows.
first rows and then columns.
Okay.
So now this chart that we have created, this plot chart. In this, if you want to add some stuff, right, like you want to add a title to this, so you can use main, and you say this is like a title. So if you say weight versus mileage, so you will get a title at the top. Okay, if you want to add some X labels, so you can use X lab, right? X label, you want to change it. Right now, you see label of X is coming like the name of the column itself, cars column weight. You want to call it as weight, right? So that can be changed. So if you similarly you want to write the Y label, so if you put comma, you write Y lab equals to mileage. You can do that.
Amit, what if we want to make clusters?
So for cluster, you'll have to apply a technique on that. You will have to use k-means clustering. So that's an algorithm that you'll have to use.
Sorry?
So for that, we have to use k-means clustering technique.
Okay. We'll be doing it ahead.
Sorry?
We'll be doing it ahead.
We might be. Okay. Similarly, on this chart, if you want to add colors, right? So you can use color also. Suppose you said color equals to red, right? So the colors can be changed with this.
And can we add a tooltip so that when we go individually on the
For
bump,
that, we have to use a plotly color.
plot what?
Plotly. I'll be telling you that.
Okay.
Amit, I am getting an error when I try to check the row names and dim names of cars.
What's there?
The error says that used without hex digits and character string starting.
Sorry, couldn't get it. Can you copy paste this on the chat?
Yeah, just a second.
Can you share the code as well once? What is the code that I've written? Somewhere I think you have the code has got executed from the top. That's the thing that I see. You just have to execute one line, the div names one. Somehow it got executed the entire complete whatever is written.
This is the code I entered.
If I just go with the div names, so
Yeah, just one by one. I mean, I entered one by one, not all in one.
it's working fine. I mean, if you just try it again.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting now. Why did it show? Why did it show like that
Yeah,
first?
I think you might would have clicked on this source over here, and this that way the code would have got executed from the very starting. So
Okay.
that is where sometimes the issue comes up.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So the next chart that we see over here is bar plot, right? So bar plot is a normal bar chart that you would like to create. Suppose I have a variable with me, right, in which I have the, say, suppose COVID cases. So in this, I have some values, suppose 30, 35, 28, like 24. Suppose I would like to plot this on a bar chart. So what I can do in that case is I have a bar plot function that I can use. So I will say simply bar plot, and I will say COVID dot cases, and you will see a chart will be created. Now, please create this. When you use this function plain, so what I was now going to do is we can use the similar functions that you see we have explored on the plot function. they are going to work on this as well. So I say COVID dot cases. I want to give X label. Suppose X label, I am going to give it as day, and Y lab, I would like to give it as the count, right? Main, I would like to give COVID cases. So you will see X label, Y labels, and COVID cases. The title has come up for this chart. If you see, we don't have any day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6 coming written over here. So you want to give that names over here. So you can simply say names dot arguments. Names dot argument equal to. So you will say this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. So if we zoom this up, so you can see D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6. So the names are also there.
This args is for that, it's like the data labels.
Sorry?
Data labels on the x-axis, this D1, D2 you gave.
No, this is just the names that I have given, like the name of that field, because I was just having a count in the data that like I have count of on day 1 as 30, 40, 50. So I just had a plain vector. So it just plotted that point in the chart. So I thought that it would be better that if we can give names to this each of the bars. So that is where I gave D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6 like this.
Okay. Can you show that code?
Well, I just take 5 minutes, right? In the minute you just write this code, just give me 5 minutes. I just somebody's in the door. Just give me Hello. Hey, hi, thank you everyone. Uh, so you have a question over here
Yeah.
for how many in case of mode. You can use loop also in that case if you want. But technically, what is going to happen is you will never have that scenario where you will be given a vector and you will have to name that up, right? Like for example, generally what happen is the data will be something like this. So I give you, so suppose let's take a data set over here, iris. No, let's not take iris. Let's take there is one data set that I have.
And Amit, if I use that row names, right? If I want to give some row names in another variable, can I substitute that variable names.arg equal to that vector consisting of the row names? Will that work?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Because I got the concept of for loop, but I don't know how to implement this in plot. That for.
Sorry, you got the concept of?
See, that day you explained for loop giving such names, but I don't know how to implement that for loop in plot. So I thought of another way, and you said it will work. That row names and substituting that particular variable here.
You just have to use that the indexing in that case. But any which ways you will have to write those
Yeah.
names somewhere, right? You will have
Yeah.
to keep the name somewhere. So you either write it in some other variable or you write
Yeah.
it directly over here. So that's the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
Let me just show you that. In the meantime, let's do one thing. This cars that I had created, just recreate that up. Done. Okay. So now suppose I have this overhead. I have this data now with me, that is cars, and if you will see in this, I have a variable with me that is cylinder, right? So the cars are having either 6-cylinder, 4 cylinders, or 8 cylinders. What I would like to do is I want to create a chart now where I would like to see that how many cars do I have in the data set which are having 4 cylinders, 8 cylinders, or 6 cylinders. So how can I plot that thing on the bar chart is basically I will have to use a table function. See, table is a function that we use for the purpose of, we use this table for the purpose of the count, right? So suppose I say table and I say cars dollar cylinder. So it is going to give you the output something like this, right? Where it says there are 11 cars which are having 4 cylinders, there are 7 cars which are having 6 cylinder, there are 14 cars which are having 8 cylinder. If you want to plot this thing on the bar chart, you can simply say bar plot, and now you will use this complete function inside it, that is cars dollar cylinder, because you have to show the count of each cylinder. First you have to do that calculation and then plot it on the chart. So if you will see now, a chart is created where you can see 4-cylinder cars are these many, 6-cylinder cars are these many, 8-cylinder cars are these many. So RM car is just to remove the variable. If there is a variable that you want to remove from here, so you can use RM. RM stands for remove that variable if you want to delete.
Okay. You ran this table of cars, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. See, this 468, it is the data's right? 4.
This is the
In the
data.
output.
So this is the data that you have inside that.
Okay.
This 6, 6, 4, 6, 8, 6. So these are the rows, right? This is the number of cylinders in the car, one number of cylinders in the car, two, car,
Yeah, those
three.
thing I got it, Amit, this table of cars, because it is giving in the form of matrix, right? So I thought this 4 data, this count, this 6 data, 7. Likewise.
The cylinders, na?
Yeah.
So there are 3 types of cylinders, 6,
Data.
4, and 4, 6, and 8. Yeah. So it is saying 4, 11 time is coming, 6, 7 time is coming, 8,
Yeah.
14 time is coming.
Again, it's data and it's count.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we do it using count?
Sorry?
Can we use count for this
Yeah, you can use count function for that.
instead of table?
You can use count.
In the same fashion like how we used for the data frame. So count and cars, and then we'll give that comma the column name cylinders.
Basically, what happens in the count is it creates a data frame. So you get two different columns in that scenario. So you will have to use a stat identity function in order to create that chart. So technically, you should go with the table function because table is creating a vector over here, but a count creates a data frame.
Okay, so this is more easier to plot on a chart. Okay.
So for bar plot, we generally use bar plot, the table function.
Amit, is there any possibility to give the colors for the datas?
Yeah, you can do that. COL will be used, the same function. So inside this, if you use COL, color equals to green, that will change. So colors we can give over here.
But not for the individual data points, right?
I mean, each bar you want a different color.
Yeah.
We can do that. So for that, we will be using a ggplot package. With that, we will be able to do it.
Okay.
Which package?
ggplot. I'll be telling you that grammar of graphics.
The x-axis you gave the count, right? Count of cylinders. Is there any data can I append like text with that count?
Can you come again, please?
No, in that plot, right? Table of cars, you have illustrated the plot with count 4, 6, 8. If I
Taking the tab equal to number of cylinders you can.
just let me complete. Can I append some data with that? In the x-axis, 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, 8, likewise.
Okay, you want to write that. So no, that is, you will have to make it in the data set itself. So you will have to make the data that way that you have 4 cylinders, 6 cylinder, and 8 cylinder.
Okay.
So because these values are coming directly from the data set.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the data we will have to do that up.
Okay.
Or maybe I think if you try to use this over here, I just have to try it out. So this names. So if I use this names dot arguments, if you give A, B, and C, that way you will be able to change it. So
But
you will have to give it a force.
overriding, right? The data itself got overridden with this.
Huh. So it
Okay.
will override the previous one.
Okay. Okay.
So either we make that change in the data set itself. So we bring the data that way, right? Like for example, what you can do is, so you have this cars data set. So what you can do over there is you can uh, create a new column inside that case, right? Cylinder equal to
Okay.
where you can use the concatenation of that. So 6 space cylinder, 6 space cylinders everywhere. Then you take a count on that. So that way you will get a different, the labels automatically.
Okay. With C bind, I can add another column, concatenate. Would you mind showing how do I concatenate?
So this is the data set that we have. So if I say
Okay.
cars, dollars, suppose I want to create this cylinder copy.
Okay.
So what I can do is paste function, right? So we can use paste function over here.
Okay.
So I want to paste cars, dollar cylinders, and CYL.
Okay. Yeah, rest I can try it by my own. Okay. Thank you
Paste
so
function
much.
is,
Yeah, this makes sense now.
if we'll put this over here on the table now, so it will give you the count of that.
Okay, the table function. Okay, okay.
Table on this, and you say now cars, dollars. So you should count that way.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ramat. Now I got it.
And in this colors that you use, that like this color that you have given, color equal to green. So what we can also do is, like, if we just come over here, so there are some hex codes that we have. So we have hex codes hex code for colors. So like every color has a hex code. So you will find a lot of websites for that where you can go in. Like for example, if this is the color orange, this color has a hex code as this. So you can just copy this hex code, and instead of writing green over there, if you give that hex code in that, so it gives that same color on the chart.
Hello, Amit, I have a question.
Sorry.
I have a question, Amit.
Uh,
So we have 1700 packages. So how do we know like what are the features available in that particular package? For example, if we need to color a particular thing in the graph, we need ggplot. So how do you know that this is available in ggplot or so?
See, basically, most of the features they remain the same, right? Like whenever you create a chart, so in the chart, the features will be related to the colors only. It will be related to the size. It will be related to the labels, right? These only. So the features will be same, right? Like for example, if when I will be showing you the ggplot package also, which we will just start over there, also you have the same thing, just that the appearance will change, right? So definitely, when it comes to coding, so there will be lots and lots of stuff that will always be there to explore, right? So what you can always do is, like for example, if you come in the help part, okay, so if you come in this, you simply write bar plot on that, and that way what will happen is you will be able to explore what all features that particular chart has, right? So just write bar plot, so you will see there are like 100 of features that you will find on this. Okay, so
Okay.
maybe there will be a lot of features that I also might not be knowing, because we generally, I might be wouldn't have used that practically in that practical sense in the kind of projects that I would have done. So this is something, like we would be at a point where the foundation will be set, that where you will be able to build the things right away. But to explore the things, you can always take the use of the help of the documentation. So where you can see, okay, this is what the capabilities of this chart are, and you can explore the things from there, right?
Okay.
Okay. So moving forward with this, so let me try. So there is a chart that you can create histogram if you want to create, right? You have a hist function. You want to create a histogram. Suppose histogram you want to create for like histogram. Why do we use histogram? Histogram is something that we use to see frequency distribution. So frequency distribution for a continuous variable, right? This is where we use a histogram now. So like suppose, let me say, let me show you a data first. So suppose, I have, you all will have to install a package for that. I'm just trying to show you an example, which we will do in a more detail with ggplot. So I have this with me, GG movies, ggplot2 movies. I have a data set with me over here. That is movies. In this, what we have is we have the data of the movies with us, like what is the rating of a movie, that was what is the rating that each movie got. So we have a data of around 58,000 movies with us. So I would like to see, like, if suppose I create a histogram, so I say movies dollars rating, so it creates a histogram for me right away. So it is telling me that most of the movies, they had a rating somewhere around 6 now, right? So histogram is something that we use to see the frequency distribution. So it automatically creates bins for us, right? So it has created a bins for us. So bin is of, I can see that we have somewhere around uh, 0.5, right? 20 bars we have got in this. So it has created a bin size of 0.5, somewhere around 0.5, 0.0 to 0.5, 0.5 to 1, 1 to 1.5. That way it has created. So basically the idea of this chart is to just see the frequency, right? Like for example, the rating. So I can see there are very less movies which are very low rating, very less moving again which are very high rating. And most of the movies are lying somewhere in the middle over here where they have the, where we can see the highest count over here. So there is a hist function for that, which help us in creating a histogram. So I just wanted to show you because this is again the same function we will be, this similar chart we will create using the ggplot package now, right? So
Install this.
huh?
Do we need to install this package?
So you have to install this package. So if you want to install it, you can try that. Just install.packages.
Okay.
So ggplot movies. So this is the name of the package. So you can install this and put it into the library. So this data set is this package is just for the data set. It just gives you data set, nothing more than that.
Amit, what is the difference between a data set and a data frame?
Data set and a,
Data frame.
so technically they are same only. Basically we call data frame as a data set that we use as a terminology. So data set is something which can generally, like matrix is also something that we call it as a data set because it has rows and columns inside it. But in the matrix, what it happens is the data is of same type. All the columns are of same type. Whereas in data frame, they can be of different data types as well.
So a data set, you're saying it can, but data set can have columns of different types, right? Like this cars data set, it has columns of different type, but it would we call it a data frame?
This is a data frame. So if you will check the class of this, if you say class of cars, that's a data frame.
Okay. So how is it that we were able to make all that table calculations on this data and to plot the bar plot, but we can't, like, it's difficult to use count or more technical.
I didn't get your question. Can you come again, please?
So you said for creating a bar plot, it's better if we create a table because if we use count, it will create a data frame.
So you get a data frame in the sense you get that type, you get two columns, right? Like if you will use that count function now. So if you say this count over here, so which is in the dplyr package, right? So if you use this, your data set cars, and we would like to use the variable that is suppose cylinder,
Cylinder.
right? So you see the output difference over here. So
Yes.
the output that we got with the table. let
Two
me put
columns.
that. No. So if you just see over here, you see the table over here, table of empty cars, dollar cylinder. So like if you see now in this versus this, right? So this is a complete data frame. You have two columns in this now. One is cylinder and one is count in. And this is a vector which is just one dimensional, and these are like coming as the names of that vector, 11, 7, and 14. So that is how these two things become different in terms of the structure, right? Like for example, if we check the class of this, right? So this is a data frame. We check the class of this, so it's a table format.
So by vector, is it similar to key value?
Huh?
Is it similar to key and value like an object oriented, like how we do?
No, like that the Python that we have a key and value, something like where we want to, it's like we want to replace the indexing with the keys. So like that is where the dictionaries are coming used, right? Like we use list over there where we say okay 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead, if you don't want an indexing number, we want to give the names. So that is like the names over there. So dictionaries are like just naming of that indexes, like we did in the R also.
Yeah.
So you can give the names of the vector, you can give the row names and column names. So that is naming convention. So data frame is like, so basically what happens is in this bar plot that you create, so in the bar plot chart, you actually have to give a variable that what you have to explicitly mention that what do you want to see on that the y-axis that you are creating. So we wanted to see a count, so that is why we have to do that calculation, because if you have a row level data with that, so it cannot do the aggregation by itself. It can only plot the data on the chart, but it can't aggregate it. So that is why we have to do that aggregation by ourselves. And default aggregation that the bar plot can show is it's a count.
Okay, that is the default, but you are saying we can also do sum then in table empty cars, dollar cylinder. If we wanted to just sum it, we can also do that.
We can do that.
And then plot the sum.
So you can plot, so you will have to specify x and y axis both. And on the x axis you want this, and on y axis you want sum. So right now count is the default calculation that it shows.
And we can do all this using table only.
Table will give you only count.
Okay,
I mean, just wait for it. The question that you're asking, we are any which way is going to come up in the topic that we are going to do right now.
Okay, cool.
Right. So now what we will do over here is just the only thing that you notice is the table is a function that will just count. Table is a function. Get the count. In the table function, like when you say one single variable, if you say table cars dollar cylinder, so it gives you the count of that. And if you want to give two variables, you can do that also. Suppose I say cars dollar gear, so it creates a two-dimensional matrix now. So you can see that the cars which are having 4 cylinders and 3 gears, there is one such car. The car having 6 cylinders and 3 gears, 2 such cars. So you can see that up from here. So it has now created like a matrix over here where you can see at the intersection that 4 cylinder, 3 gears. So first you have the rows and then you have the columns. So you see this information coming row wise and
Yeah.
this column wise. So you can see the count across two variables as well.
Cylinder is the first one you give, so that's coming row wise, and gear is coming column wise. That's the second. So again, which again pops up another question. If we give a third variable, what would happen?
Third, you can plot it, right? So third, how we will plot that out?
Because this is 2D.
Uh, So now you know now what we've done is we have seen how we can create the charts with the help of the basic functions that we have. So there is a package that we have which is most widely used into the field and the people or the developers who use R, and that package is ggplot. The ggplot stands for grammar of graphics, right? So we have the grammar of graphics. Now this is again, right, this is a package that we will simply be using to create just the charts over here. So what happened with this package is, first of all, we all have to install this. You will say install.packages ggplot2. This is the name of the package that you need to all install. So please install this up. So after we install this, you have to put this package into the library, ggplot2. So what we would like to do over here is, so first of all, I would like to give you the basics of this. So basically, ggplot package, it works the way that, like for creating any chart, what is the first thing that we need? We need data, right? The data set is required, data set on which the chart will be created. The second thing that it looks out for is that is the aesthetics. Now aesthetics means variables to be used for chart development, right? So basically in a data set you can have 10 variables, but for a particular chart you will not use all the 10 variables. You will use one variable, two variable, or three variable. That is how you are going to work. Then you need chart, right, which we call it as geometry. So after you know that this is the data set and these are the fields that you need to use to create your chart, we define geometry. The geometry means type of chart, right? The type of chart that you would like to create. Then what we do is we come up. Now these are the most important, right? Because without these three factors, a chart can never be created, right? Then what we do is we can specify some themes if we want. We can do the facketing, which we will discuss. This is breaking the chart, right? And then what you can do is you can define some the coordinates. So you want to define some coordinates on the chart, you can do that, right? Coordinates means x and y limit coordinates. So these are some, the 6 steps that we do on any of the charts that we create: data, aesthetic, geometry, themes, and all. So I'll be showing you, we will be seeing all these things one by one so as to understand all these things. So the first chart that we will create over here is that will be a histogram, right? Histogram is something that we have just created. This chart that you all see, the same chart we will be now creating with the help of a ggplot package. So how do we use the ggplot packages? You will have a function ggplot, So first thing, data set. You have to provide data, which data you will like to use. I am using the data set that is movies, comma. So just first watch everyone, then you can all just write that down. Okay. So then what we do is we define aesthetics. Aesthetic means which variable will you like to use to make the chart over here. So I'm saying aesthetics, and the variable that I would like to use is x equals to rating. Then I say plus geom underscore. See, every chart in ggplot starts with geom. You say geom area, geom bar, geom box plot, geom color, contour. So I want to get a histogram. So I will find geom underscore histogram. And there it goes. And you will see a chart has been now created over here, right? So here I can see a histogram has been created, which looks definitely different from what we did previously, which we will be understanding what this chart has created. So first of all of you please make this chart. Then I'll just explain you this chart and some more features on it. Okay. See, when you create this histogram over here, what you get is you get something like a message over here, start bin using bins equal to 30. So basically, whenever we work with the histogram, there are two things, right? One is called as bins and another is called as bin width, right? So bins means the number of bars and the bin width means the size of the bars. Okay, like for example, if you see right now, if suppose I am saying I have the data of some students, the age of the student is between 0 to 100. So what I can do is I can divide the data into 0 to 10, right? 11 to 20, 21 to 30. So that is how I can split my data now. Now, if you see there is a gap of 10 everywhere, that is called as bin size. So bin size is of 10. So basically the interval that you are taking, that is bin size. Bin size is equals to 10, right? 10 now in this case. Now, similarly, if you just come over here and suppose if we talk in the context of the bins means the number of bars. So if you have the data from 0 to 100, how many bars will you get? The bars that we will get over here is bins will be equal to 10. That is, we are going to get 10 bars in this chart if you plot it up over here now. So this is how basically histograms work. So right now by default, what it has done is it has created 30 bins. 30 bins means it has created 30 bars. 30 bars. So the rating is between 0 to 10. So R has by default splitted the data from 0 to 10 into 30 bars over here, which definitely are not clearly visible right now. Okay, what I will do is I can add some stuff on this. I will say color equals to red. So you will see red outlining will come. You will be able to see the bars now individually. So you will see 30 bars are plotted. So again, the analysis remains the same, right? I can see that around 6, we can see the rating is on the highest side. Okay. Similarly, in this histogram, you want to change the color. Oh, sorry, you like when you say color, so in this color has got this border line. If you want to change the inside color, you can use fill. If you say fill equals to green, so the inside color will be filled with green color. So we can see now the chart has a green color inside it. So that is fill. On this chart, you can define your own bins also, right? Bins or bin width, whatever you want, you can do that. Suppose you want to define bins, right? You are saying you only want 10 bars. If you will create this chart now, so you get only 10 bars now. Okay. Similarly, if instead of bins, you want to define bin width. So that is also possible. You can say bin width. Bin width equal to, you want a bin width of, say, suppose 2. So you can do that. So your bars will reduce accordingly, right? So you have to define only one thing. You can either define bins or you can define bin width, because other thing gets adjusted automatically. Okay. So this is, so if you see, this is where you can use the ggplot package to create this chart quickly. Similarly, if I come over here now, what we will do over here is, let's create a scatter plot chart. A scatter plot with the help of ggplot package. So I will use that same chart that we created, that was weight versus mileage. So if I come over here, I'm simply going to say ggplot, dataset name, right? Dataset name is empty cars. I'm going to say aesthetics. Now this will be very interesting because we will learn a lot of stuff on this. I'm seeing on x-axis, I want to keep it on the x-axis, I want to keep, say, suppose weight. On y-axis, I want to keep the mileage. And then I want to say plus geom. So first of all, I just defined, right? The same thing, dataset name. Then I have defined the aesthetics. Then I am saying plus geom underscore histogram. Oh, sorry, geom underscore point, because this scatter plot comes by the name of point chart. We will see the same scatter plot will be created for us over here.
Can you show the code on geom underscore?
Point.
Did you put anything inside that bracket?
No, nothing, blank.
All those color themes, labels, everything is same like plot.
So they will come up.
Okay.
So inside this geom point, you want to use the color. So you will say colors equals to green. So the color will change Inside this, you want to change the shape. Shape equals to 1. Shape will change. So you have the numbering 1, 2, 3. So we can change the shape. We can change the size, right? If you say size equals to 2, size will increase, right? If you say size equal to 3, it will become bigger. So we can increase the size also of this.
But how can I see what are all the shapes available? Is there any?
You will not find any this over here. If you will go in the help, you don't have any numbering. So as such, uh, you'll just have to you will Google it out on that, like what shape, because there are a lot of shapes. You can keep on trying with the numbers, you will keep getting different charts in that scenario. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'll change this. If I say 10, what is so? Right, so you will find lots and lots of shapes. You put this 10, 20, right? So you see again the shapes are different. There are lots of shapes.
Okay.
Now you know what happened is, like for example, this is a chart, right? The chart that I have created, right? So now I hope the things are sorted up till here, right? Anything you feel that is not clear or any questions, anyone? Okay. See, what I do right now is this chart that I have created. In this chart, what we have is X and Y axis both. As the weight is increasing, I can see mileage is decreasing. So we have 32 cars in the data. So every car has some cylinder, right? It can have 4 cylinders, 6 cylinder or 8 cylinder, correct? So what if I want to show that the information of cylinder also on this chart, that for each car, how many cylinders does it have? So how do you think it will make sense visually if I have to see that thing? If I use a coloring effect, will that work? If I say
Maybe
that the 4 cylinders should be in some other color, 6 cylinder car should be another color, and 8 cylinder should be in the other color, that can suffice my purpose.
clustering.
Sorry,
Clustering.
clustering.
Like the colors you said, right? That some points should be in a different color. That's what we were.
See, clustering is a different concept. So clustering is where what we do is we try to group the similar items together, right? So that is called as a concept of clustering over there. So like for example, you want to see which are those stores which are having high revenue and high profit margin, or you want to highlight those data set. You want to see that data where you have low sales, high margin. So that is the clustering concept. So over here, I'm not doing clustering anything over here. This is more like a simple representation of that. So I have 32 cars with me, and I can see their information on this. Let me remove the color over here for now. So what we see is we can see this chart now. Now every car has some cylinders, right? This is a detail that is given to me in the chart only, in the data only. Like this is we have weight. So there was a car. The weight of that car was on the higher side. That was around 6, I will say, and its mileage was around 10. Now this particular car has some cylinders in it, right? So if you will take a look in the data, so if I just go back in this data now over here on the cars data set, so let me put weight in the descending order. So this was the car, Continental car that we are looking at. You see the mileage is 10.4 and the weight is 5.424, the same car that I had highlighted. Now this car has 8 cylinders. Now what I'm trying to, my question over here is like how what I want to do on this chart is that what should happen is by looking at the chart, I should be able to identify that how many cylinders does it have. Does it have a 8 cylinder, 6 cylinder, or 4 cylinder, right? So we can use color representation for that. Suppose if I say that all the 8 cylinder cars are in green color. So if the color will be green, I will be able to get it that okay, this is 8 cylinder, this is 8 cylinder, this is 8 cylinder. So just a color component that we are trying to add on this chart. So if you want to add that component, so what you can do in that scenario is you can simply come over here and let's make this chart again. So I'm going to say geom point. Now I'm going to use color equal to, now coloring has to be on the basis of a column. So I will say color equal to cylinder, right? And I, because what did I say when we were discussing on the starting? Aesthetics, the variables to be used for the chart development, they always come under aesthetics. So you will see right over here when I was writing weight and mpg, they are the variables, so they are coming under aesthetics. So the same thing I will have to do over here, that aesthetics color should happen on the basis of cylinder. So if I make this chart now, you will see the color of the bubbles will change, and we can very easily identify from here that as the color is, as the number of cylinders are increasing, the color is, the shade of the color is getting lighter. So I can see these cars have 4 cylinders, the medium colors they have the 6 cylinders, and the lightest one they have the 8 cylinders. So from the color saturation I am able to find the number of cylinders that the car has.
It's quite
This
opposite.
is a
The color gets dark, it should be number of cylinders should be higher, right? Can we change this?
That we can change.
Okay.
So that's
also
the
this
map.
is a gradient. If we can have individual colors for the numbers,
Hmm.
that
We can have that. So if you will see, actually right now this chart is not in a correct representation. If you will see over here, actually the number of cylinders, how many cylinders do we have? We have only three type of cylinders, right? 4, 6, and 8. If you
yeah.
see right now, what this chart is doing, it is showing me the data from 4 to 8 right now. So it shows me, it gives me 7 also, it gives me 5 also. The reason for that is because it's a numeric variable. So when the variable is numeric, so by default, it is assuming that this is a continuous data, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has given you the color saturation in that case. But technically speaking, 4, 6, and 8, this is not a numerical data. This is like a categorical data format. This 4 is one category, 6 is another category, and 8 is another category. So technically I have three categories of data with me. So what I have to do over here is that I have to ensure that I plot these things onto my, I show them as a categorical data and not as a numerical data. So how do I do that? How can I convert this variable, the variable of cylinder, into categorical
As a
data?
measure or as a do that
I just have to use factor command. So
factor.
factor is a function. What that does is that converts the data into the categorical type. So just have a look at it. So if we make this up over here, now 4, 6, and 8, all the three are in different colors. So factor is basically it converts the data into categorical type, right? So factor is a function. Okay. Right, so please try this, right? So this is where I think, we'll keep the stuff up for today, right? So tomorrow we will explore some more charts and more features and functionalities of the ggplot package, right? So this is where we come to a pause for today. So this is like the functions charts. So we have just seen very few charts only, right? We have seen the plot, the bar plot, and the histogram. So tomorrow we will see the box plots. We will create some density charts. We will try to explore the bar charts, bar plot, stack bar chart, the dodge bar charts, everything in the using the ggplot package. So any questions before we walk off the class?
Amit, I have a question in the assignment that you shared yesterday.
Sorry.
I have one question in the assignment which you shared yesterday, the dplyr exercise.
Yeah, please ask.
Can I share my screen quickly? Yeah. See, this is the last question of that assignment. Use pipe operators to get the mean value of HP for the cars with 6 cylinders. See, I use this filter function and I have stored this in a variable. I'm getting the output for that. But this output is not matching this one. Is anything wrong with my code?
So what you have done is you have just applied a filter. So they are
Yeah.
asking for the mean HP. So after you
Yeah.
have applied
Here I
this,
have applied, right? Calculated the mean HP. Because I have stored that filter result in this particular variable. I'm using that particular variable, and because if I run this two queries, I'm getting separate output. So I got a confusion
so
which
what is
data set
what
I
is the so what is the output you are getting with the line 46?
what is
That
it?
is the correct one that I see.
No, I'm getting 146. But in the assignment, it is like this is what you want. So I'm not getting it. Am I missing something or some logic is missing here? I don't know.
You have to find this.
And another question is which data set should I use? Because this particular variable holds the records of this particular condition. So I have used this particular thing here, and I tried to use this group by also, and I couldn't get, because this MTC variable holds the entire data set of empty cars. So I got a confusion. Which one should I use? This data set or the main data set?
No, you are asking for which question? The six cylinder ones, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just opening that question up. Actually, it should be 122. I think there's an answer. There's a misprint in that over there. So actually, what they have done is they have. The answer that I see over there is now. It
So
is
it's
coming.
24 point something. This is the index. Okay.
So that answer is coming for this, I guess. This. Let me show you. I think answer is coming for the standard deviation. ST, if you will try. So the answer that you see printed, that is coming for the standard deviation. So the mean should be coming as 122. Is it coming the same for you?
Now, should I run this one?
I just run this.
146. No, that is the wrong data set, I think. If I run this, yeah, 122, I'm getting it.
Right, so 122 is the correct answer. Basically.
So I should not use this data set then. This is wrong.
No, so you can use the first one also. That should also work fine.
No, I'm getting a different output, right?
You have made a car 6 cylinders filter.
Yeah.
What is MTC?
It is the main data set of MTC cars.
Okay, empty cars that you have. So you have
Yeah.
saved. So if I take a look at MTC, you have 32 observations, and in that you have saying cylinder equal to 6. Okay. In car 6 cylinder me. So technically this should also give you the same answer only. Nothing is changing in that. So why it is giving you a different answer in that scenario?
Yeah. So I
Maybe
tried
two
with
things.
this.
Do one thing. Do one thing. Just go
Yeah.
back to that. Just run that line number 43 again.
This one.
Okay. Now run that 46 line again.
Amit, is it because in MTC she hasn't filtered the 6 cylinder, and in the other data set cars underscore 6 cylinder, that 6 cylinder is filtered? Could it be that?
Actually, no, can you come down? So let me just check.
Yeah. So in the first 46 line, MTC doesn't have the 6 cylinder filter.
See, this is wrong now.
Yeah.
Got it? You are picking the data set as car 6 cylinder, but you're calculating the mean on the MTC.
Yeah, that is what I was, because I couldn't figure out the correct answer for that. I was just doing a trial and error method. For this 48, right, I got the logic and I'm getting the correct output. You said the output in the assignment is wrong. So I got this one. So that of asking this.
No, but in the 46 also you find the error.
No, I didn't get any error, but I'm getting some output.
Output, the logic is you see what you are doing in the line number 46 is
Yeah.
you are using the data set as car 6 cylinder, correct? See the first part. You are said summarize.
Yeah.
You right, and you are calculating the mean on the MTC data set, the overall average. Mean MTC dollar HP.
Okay. This thing is considered as a whole data set here.
Check now. So you have written view. Just line number 44. Run that
Yeah.
up. So this is the data set. This is the
Yeah.
data of those cars which are 4 cylinders in that, 6 cylinders in that.
Yeah.
Right. So you will have to pick the column from here only HP.
Okay, got it. Because I got this group by condition. This resultant set, based on this, we are calculating a mean on this. So, okay, got the
You are
concept.
not getting it now. So in the line
Yeah.
46, you are calculating the mean on the entire
Yeah.
without any filter. And in that 48 number line, you are calculating the mean on the car 6 cylinder HP.
On
There
the
is nothing
filter
to-
data set. Okay. Yeah, now I'm getting it. Yeah, this is all I have. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
And
Thank you guys.
Amit, do you have any assignment for the joints?
Joints. I gave my yesterday, I think.
No, it included only 4 to 5 questions on the dplyr package.
It doesn't include any joins.
Yes.
One second. Let me share on the WhatsApp. Just give me a little time. I'll just share on the WhatsApp group, right? Or I'll upload it on that classroom. I'll just share that. I have an Excel. I'm just not able
Okay.
to locate it right now. I'll put it over there.
Okay, then thank you for the
Okay.
session. Amit.
Thank
Bye.
you, Amit. Bye.
Yeah, I think I just let me just do it. Just I just found that. So yeah, in this, you have questions also and you have the solutions also in the last. You can just validate that as well. I mean, after writing, if you get stuck somewhere, so it's a little bit of a high level, advanced level questions you will find inside it. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Bye.